Hi, chat room, greatest chat room in the history of the world. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. I'm always tinkering. Every day I'm tinkering, tinkering, tinkering. So, hey, you know how when the Ukraine stuff started happening and everybody was like, Biden says it's going to happen, but Zelensky says it isn't, and therefore it isn't. And I was like, it's going to happen. And it did. Remember that? Okay. Remember my warning about COVID and how it's going to be a lot worse than 14 days to stop the spread, and it's really serious and bad, and avoid getting it at all costs as best you can? Yeah, okay. Also, if you'll recall, I said recently that there is a war going on between the maggots over over like sort of who's more extreme, who's going to be the legacy follower, the loomers versus, like, it used to be just maggots versus rhinos, and that never stops. Let me tell you something about purity tests, kids. If you have a purity test, it will never be satisfied. All of them end up with like Stephen King's The Mist, with expiation. You just got to start purging people. No one will ever be good enough for a purity test in an organization. It's just not, it never will happen. And the only people who think they're, people who believe that they are perfect will like almost create a confirmation bias, force themselves to believe that others are less pure eventually, because you'll just be jockeying for power and position. So whether it's left-wing groups or right-wing groups, if it's the crust and not the pizza, the crust will always argue that it is the valuable part of the conversation, but it will always, the crust will eat itself. It's a terrible analogy for this part of it, but you get what I'm talking about. Like, if you're in the extremes and you can't go, okay, we solved it. Like, I understand the extreme of trying to, like, fight AIDS, for example. I worked way back in the day with Marianne Williamson on Project Angel Food and AIDS Project Los Angeles when I was 20 years old. Yeah, 19 years old. Volunteering and doing all kinds of stuff like that. There were, I all the way to the point of playing being the first straight actor to play a gay man in a positive negative AIDS, like a HIV positive negative relationship, the first one on television in a series, and all the stories that went into that whole arc of that. And now we are at the point where there is an AIDS vaccine, that HIV vaccine that is in human trials. There's PrEP and other things that can keep you from getting it in the first place, and they have extended people's lives past the point where it's a manageable illness until such time as they're like their viral load is so low that it's almost indetectable. So low, by the way, that they can't pass it on. That is what I would argue as real progress. Think of the intensity of ACT UP, right? The AIDS activists. I saw one of them inject themselves with what they said was AIDS-infected blood at an AIDS walk, because they were screaming out about how it's the medicines that are killing people, not AIDS itself, and whatever. This person was obviously nuts. But imagine that intensity where you're willing to do that to yourself, or pretend to do that to yourself. That's the other thing too. But in front of a crowd of people, while people are talking about trying to raise money to combat AIDS and HIV. And imagine, if you would, if now that we have things like PrEP and there's a vaccine on the way, and that it has become a treatable disease, it is no longer a death sentence. Imagine if there were still people in the ACT UP mentality, even after you've solved the problem, right? Even after you got there, like, until we eradicate it, I'm just going to go around injecting people with AIDS infected blood, right? That's if there was somebody that fucking nuts, right? Okay, that's the problem with like political extremes or religious extremes, because they become there's a lot of overlap and commonality in those groups. Whether it's Jonestown or the fucking the Jeffries polygamy cult and the Mormons, or like hyper Orthodox Jews that are trying to bring around the end of the world, for, for whatever fucking reason, or Islamists who believe that everyone should be forcibly converted because I guess they think Islam's not a religion, it's a pyramid scheme, and unless you bring in more subscribers, you'll get kicked out of the system and never get the condo. All those things, like in those situations, you don't have a clear goal that is reachable, which is the eradication of HIV, the eradication of AIDS, for example. That's very distinct, and if you've hit that or not. It's like running a mile. If you hit the end, if you reach the end of the mile, you've run it. That's it. But if it's run the best mile, not the fastest mile, but the best mile, what the fuck does that mean? And anybody can just decide what best mile means to them. And if they disagree with your version and they're in the emotional extremes of these kind of things, they can fucking kill you, I guess. That's where the reality is in this right now. The word on the street is that that the memes that this dude put out and had on his bullet casings and on his magazines were groyper shit from the Nick Fuentes world. So I brought up the whole watch this space thing about Nick Fuentes doing this end run around them and this big split with what's like the gentrified maggot sphere, right? I was telling you guys, it's been a couple of months. I was like, check this out. And again, this is way worse than them against us. That feverish, hatred that boils that they have for, for I don't know, liberals or fucking BLM or whatever their particular, I call them groypers because it's kind of like petty bullshit. But I'll show you real quick. Hold on. So there was all this stuff on Reddit that was popping up where people were like, oh shit, is he one of ours? That showed up on Nick Fuentes' Reddit. And so, let's see. Yeah, after the Kirk run, I'll show you this right. Okay. So I showed a little bit of this morning. And just to catch you up on this so a groyper is a follower of Nick Fuentes, but it's this kind of somewhere between it's definitely white Christian nationalist, certainly racist, and certainly sexist. Okay, the outside of that, it's your fucking wiggle room. You can I guess you can pick your awful, right? And that's one of the reasons why it's not, even though it's called a movement, it's why it's kind of a scattered one. Once you try to organize people like this into a movement, you're going to have that purity test problem because they all came to it for different reasons. And so there's going to be infighting. Look at the Tea Party. Look at Occupy Wall Street. Look at the fucking, the Chaz/Chop in Seattle, where, by the way, a bunch of wannabe Antifa kids killed 2 black kids, shot up their car, and then dragged the bodies out onto the street and stripped everything out of the car so there would be no evidence when the cops showed up. That's what happens when you're like, we're going to start from scratch. Okay. No, you're fucking not. So anyways, that's what I'm saying. Yes, hashtag Rip Portland. So the idea that's been floating around a bunch is that he is a groyper, that he is actually to the right of Charlie Kirk, or where Charlie Kirk was. He's to the right of CPAC. He's to the right of TPUSA. TPUSA is the gentrified upper class of maggotry, and the groypers are the act up crowd in the description that I was doing before. Like borderline terrorists, they would be The groypers would, if they were on the left, is where the weather underground would have been birthed from. If that makes sense. Yeah, you guys follow me on this? Because it's like, again, a lot of this shit is like stuff like none of us ever needs to know about. And the details are kind of important only in this. It's a pushback against this idea that this guy was left wing and that he was attacking Charlie Kirk as a left winger. Yes, you're quite confused because you've been told by every right winger that it's obviously a left winger because Charlie Kirk was considered conservative. But to the maggots, like the maggot faithful and the extremes in the groyper zone, he's not conservative. He's a betrayer. And again, a lot of times, one of the reasons why when there's a revolution, the most dedicated are the first up against the wall for the firing squad is because they're the ones that want to hold everybody to the extreme level, the extreme rules, whatever the standards are, to the most extreme. And the new ruler will often kill those people because they're not all in on it and they want to get right to the corruption. Okay, so this is despite the online channel. There's no conclusive proof of Robinson's link to the alt-right group. That's because that's the point of being a groyper. There shouldn't be, and that's different than MAGA. And if you look at what Fuentes says, he doesn't tell his followers wear the hat, wear a badge, wear your cross, show off who you are. What he says is, get an education, start a business, build money and wealth, and then one day the day will come and we will all work together to upend the system from, and make it in our image. It's not overt like magatry. That's why. Okay, so just throwing this out there so you guys kind of know this. When we get to the people who are obviously selling something, including a woman who allegedly, and I say allegedly now because she doesn't seem to give a shit about Me Too or how women are treated in the workspace or any of that stuff. It's House Park, so hate wrapped up in more hate. Oh, it goes way further than that. It's not as simple as hate. You're thinking in terms of like romantic language. Hate and love and friendship and fighting. This goes way beyond that. When you hate, when it enters into like the world of eugenics and population, there's another word for it. So anti-fascist and bizarre internet memes and this thing. Okay, she's referencing like the OWO, what's down there meme that's in here. There's a bunch of groyper memes that are carried that dunk on people that are used ironically on people like Charlie Kirk. That they're all secretly weak and gay and whatever. Like that, when they write that stuff, they're not defending the LGBT community. What they're saying is that Charlie Kirk is too permissive and he's allowing for respectful discourse with these people, and that cannot be allowed. This is the orthodoxy. This is Opus Dei against the orthodoxy. The orthodoxy to the rest of us is like completely extreme, but to Opus Dei, it might as well be a San Francisco liberal. Does that make sense? Okay, so watch Megyn Kelly dance around this shit. This is what we know about the anti-fascist and bizarre, which is the way they cover the internet memes written on Charlie Kirk shooter ammo.
They got him. The manhunt is officially over.
No, they didn't get him. He turned himself in, asshole.
And that is very good news. President Trump making the surprise announcement on Fox and Friends. This is so classic Trump. Somebody called him right before he went out there and said,
Nope, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. They didn't call him right before he went. Apparently they knew that, they obviously knew the night before at 10 p.m., and they talked to Trump about it, but they held everybody else from saying anything so Trump could break it on Fox. Because fuck you and your little podcast, Trump wanted to throw them a bone. We'll get to that in a moment.
The president, we think we got the Charlie Kirk assassin, and then he just revealed it. I can just picture like Kash Patel in his office, like, what is he doing? What?
No, that's not what happened, asshole. He wasn't surprised Trump said it. They held the information from everybody else saying it because they could have done a 10 o'clock or a midnight thing. We got him. Go to bed. We'll talk about this in the morning. They held it so that Trump could break the news. Of course, Patel fucking knew.
Who told? Why? Why did he tell?
Because they let him do it because he wants to steal valor from real police officers doing real work and this fucking minister who talked this shithead down.
Oh, we have that. Okay, let's watch it.
Any updates on the suspect?
By the way, does that question sound like she's just, it just occurred to me. Is there any updates? Couldn't possibly be the earpiece.
Yeah. Can I always say, I think, just to...
It's alleged, you fucking moron. And no, you can't say, I think. You either heard it or you didn't. We have certain information or we don't. It has nothing to do with what you fucking think. What details do you know and what details do you not know? This is... Can I just say I think so that we all don't get sued?
Protect us all, and so Fox doesn't get sued.
You can get sued for saying I think. You're the president of the United States. This is Fox News. They can go, I think he did it. That's why you say he's alleged to have done it. They picked up someone they believe to be the suspect. We believe that we have believe, not think. Belief is amorphous. It involves faith and possibility. Think is I have these details and they fit together like math.
We all don't get sued and everything else, but I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him.
Right. By the way, you'll notice he says we have him, not we got him. Because somebody else told him the details about him turning himself in. And he knows they didn't get anybody. The dude his dad drove him to the police station.
Custody, right? In custody, everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor, everybody did a great job.
And ultimately, none of it mattered except just the posting of the picture.
Getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing. And
you don't start off with absolutely nothing. You don't. First of all, you have a body and you have a strike point and it's on video. You didn't start with nothing. This is not a dead body found in a locked room with no marks on it. Nothing. Fuck you. You even know, dude, the bullet itself narrowed the direction it could have come from.
It off with a clip that made him look like an ant. That was almost useless. We just saw there was somebody up there.
Okay, he's talking about that side roof shot where there's somebody on the roof laying there. That's not what they released. That wasn't the FBI releasing it or the locals. That was online and made the rounds on its own. Fuck me. It's the, let's see. Let's see. Just to clarify. All right, this is what he's talking about. He looked like an ant or whatever, right? That's what he's talking about. That's not nothing. You weren't going to identify him based on that asshole. You knew where it came from. That's what singled out the direction which the bullet traveled and struck Charlie Kirk. So it had to come from someplace. It had to come from someplace within a reasonable distance. Nobody floated that. Do you recognize this lump? No, the fucking FBI didn't put that video out going, see this guy on the roof? Does that look like the outline of the shoulders and ass of anybody you know that wears black? This is so fucking dumb.
And so much work has been done over the last 2.5 days.
And none of it mattered. All they needed to do was look at the security cameras at the actual school where he's walking up the fucking steps and put it online, and his youth pastor and his dad went, that's him.
Amazing, actually, when you start off with that and then all of a sudden you get lucky or talent or what.
You didn't get lucky or talent. It wasn't even luck. Someone recognized a picture of him. It wasn't lucky that that UVU has security cameras. It wasn't lucky that the dude, because he's a local, is recognized by somebody nearby.
Whatever it is, but yeah, I think we're in great shape.
We're in great shape. By the way, this is a brain fart about the economy and all kinds of like, that's all he can fucking say. Like, he wants to say this country is hot as a pistol right now. We're in great shape. We got the killer, and my tariffs will work by January of 2028.
And he's in custody.
Pretty extraordinary.
No, it's not. Pretty fucking standard, dipshit.
Soon thereafter, law enforcement confirming the arrest, and Utah's Republican Governor Spencer Cox this morning.
They held off telling everybody so that Trump could break the news like a dipshit on Fox.
Describing how it all unfolded and laying out key details about the suspect and what may have motivated the young man who is 22 years old from Washington, Utah.
Yes, totally. That liberal bastion, Utah, and that window of people, 20-year-old, college-age white guys.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We
Practically a one-man Antifa.
got him.
We got him. Okay, by the way, we saw parts of this before, she's replaying this, so we'll get to what she's saying. So again, see, these are the pictures that they put out, that somebody recognized him, and then they turned him in. Okay.
AO.
Okay, so he says, if you can read this, you're gay, LMAO.
A second unfired casing read, "Oh, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
Sounds pretty groyper to me. By the way, groypers, say what you will about their racism, they do not fall under fascism. They believe we're a Christian nation, and so they are bound by that belief. Trump and arguably Charlie Kirk's crowd, whether not Kirk himself, but like the Turning Points USA crowd or the Toilet Paper USA crowd, are fine with Trump's authoritarian shit. They're completely okay with the military on the streets.
Today, we'll bring you the latest and more of Charlie Kirk, the man, the husband, the patriot, as we remember his extraordinary life.
But first, let me sell you gold for the end of the world.
We're going to start, though, with the suspect, Tyler Robinson. So a word on those engravings. First of all, yesterday, Stephen Crowder was correct that there were casings, that they had engravings on them. And at least one piece of what was on there was correct, the anti-fascist writings.
Nope. Yeah. There's difference between anti-fascists and Antifa. Don't believe me? Ask a groyper. You'll get an earful.
And logos. As for the trans reference, that's unclear. The bullet that they said hit Charlie had words on it that were notices bulges, OWO. What is this?
That the OWO is eyes wide looking down. The W being the nose, the O's being eyes open wide. Notices bulge, and then what is this? It's a meme. This is a groyper meme.
And that appears to be a reference to furry culture, which is part of the trans community.
No, it isn't. Okay. Haha, you're cute. Flops beside you and nuzzles. Oh, nuzzles your back, bounces on. Notices your bulge. OWO, what's this? It's not. It's a, like, that meme is where it's rooted from, but it's all about, it's somebody dressed to hide the fact that it's two guys with a penis and, like, acting surprised.
It's a bizarre sort of offshoot of,
like, two guys together, one guy's acting surprised that the other one has a penis, however they're dressed.
The weird trans thing.
That's not a weird trans thing. Furry's not a trans thing, shithead. We're not transitioning. The kids aren't fucking giving kitty litter and cat food in schools. It's all bullshit.
You can see this from online.
House Sparks MAGA don't know 4chan. Oh, they know. Oh, they know. It's her. Like, it's this, like, level that pretend... Well, maggots, some maggots are pretending not to know it. She doesn't actually know. She just... And if she hears any information that goes, oh, they use this ironically from on groypers towards, like, the gentrified maggots, she'll just block that out. She'll just forget she's ever heard that. Like, I don't know what that means. It was left wing something.
It's a meme.
Yeah, fucking Tyler Robinson wasn't a fucking furry, dipshit.
And
if anything, if you want to go there, if anything, the argument is that Charlie Kirk was. That they're all pervs and they're protecting Trump's pedo racket and all that kind of shit.
it has some...
I mean, you could probably, we'll see. So you could probably track some of this asshole's stuff back to Charlie Kirk saying, I'm done talking about the Epstein list.
Meaning for these weird, bizarre, furry culture people. And also it's used by gamers connected to that culture. Who the...
Yeah, just gamers connected to that culture of gamers. No. Nope. Not just people. Gamers aren't just anybody that plays video games, asshole. The gamer subculture you're talking about is extremely right-wing, very Andrew Tate, very anti-woman. It's the incel group that we all heard about years ago. That just... Yeah, keep fucking polishing this turd, Megyn.
Fuck knows. I'm sorry, but...
I do. Lots of people know. Check with some fucking people.
It's something very bizarre. And we're trying... my mom always used to say when I was growing up, I cannot respond to irrational behavior rationally.
You're not supposed to respond to it. And first of all, you can't respond to irrational behavior rationally? What do you fucking think a doctor does? Or a cop? Or a psychiatrist? I'm sorry, is the news... Are people in the news supposed to panic as much as witnesses to a news event? And you don't have to... This is also this... There's this... I've always hated this. There is this parallel that Republicans like to run, that ignorance is akin to innocence. If I don't know anything about it, I couldn't possibly be guilty of it. Yeah, you can. You don't need to know how to kill somebody to kill somebody. It happens all the fucking time. People figure it out in the moment. But up till that moment, I wouldn't even have the first idea how to kill somebody, right? But there's a hammer laying right there, right? It's fucking dumb. Just because you don't know about something doesn't mean you can't be guilty of it, asshole. And it also, it's like, I don't know the name of this, but I'll do the activity, and therefore... somehow I'm innocent because I don't know what you call it. Just because you don't understand the ironic language of this doesn't mean that your favorite fucking people and some of your guests don't participate in this shit. There are people in her fucking her favorites list on her phone or her producer's phone who could explain this shit from the incel groyper standpoint to her in 2 minutes.
And that in a way is what we're trying to do here.
No, you're not. You don't have to respond to it. Just describe it. What you're trying to do is spin it. That's the thing. You can't spin this because if you look any deeper than just the surface and try to understand it at all, you'll realize it isn't left wing.
Because we're human and we're seeking meaning, and we really don't want this to happen again. So we all feel like if we can find the reason behind this one, then we can prevent the next one, because we'll just stop doing the thing that led to the first one. We'll figure out what was the ideology. Okay, we'll look for that ideology and we'll guard against it. That's only natural. All of us want to do that.
Until you dig too far.
So I don't know. I don't know what this guy was into. Well,
then maybe don't fucking talk about it like you do. Well, here's the thing. How about don't title your fucking video what we know about the anti-fascist bizarre internet memes? How about what we don't know? How about that, Megyn? How about I got no fucking clue? I'm trying to defend Trump as best I can, and I'm trying to like divert this away from my side and put it on the other, which is my fucking gig. But I don't know how, because I'm afraid if I look any deeper than just the surface, I'll realize there's no way to do it.
I don't know why he was familiar with furry culture memes. He certainly seems to have been a gamer. If you read online how people are reacting to the symbols that he was using on his casings, because the other three are as follows. Hey, fascist, catch, with 3 down arrow symbols. And there was another one, oh, Bella Ciao.
By the way, the fascist, hey, fascist, catch thing, it wasn't 3 arrows. It was 2 up and 3 down, which I think is a Helldiver reference, which is a video game where you have to call in an airstrike.
Like the Italian CIAO. Bella Ciao, Ciao Ciao, which is a reference to an Italian anti-fascist song.
Right. Which is on the Groyper playlist along with a bunch of Kanye tracks.
Used against the Nazis.
Yeah, and who could hate that? Who doesn't like them, right? Blondie? Hold on. See if I can show you the... Let's see if I can do this. I'm going to try to show you an image of this. Yeah, know your meme. There you go. What's Bella Ciao's song, and did Charlie Kirk Shooter have it on his bullet case? And the song's linked to the Groyper War explained. The inscription references the Italian song Bella Ciao, often linked to the anti-fascist resistance. The song rose to global recognition in the 1960s and went viral again in 2020 with the hit Netflix show Money Heist, which I viewed as one of the saddest fucking names for a movie. Like, you can tell, like, okay, they're doing this for the international audience, so they're just calling it, show... It's when you see a movie and it's like, The Police Officer. And like, they're really not trying very hard. And like, oh, we just wanted to be able to be translated. Like all the dialogue in the Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie. Ooh. Bless their hearts. They worked so hard. So, okay. Bella Ciao, Italian, the first printed in the 1950s, blah, blah, blah. Song became a global protest hymn. Decades later, song made a repeat in the Money Heist in the scene from the first season with a group of bank robbers sing the song in celebration of tunneling into a vault. In January 25, German protesters notably sang Bella Ciao to oppose the rise of the far-right AfD, as seen in the TikTok video, the Deciphering. And then on September 50, FDR officials, it was written on there, blah, blah, blah. Amid the debate, several internet users argued the Bella Ciao inscription did not automatically suggest a leftist connection, instead suggesting Robinson may have had ties to far-right. Central to that pushback was the Groyper War, a harassment campaign launched by far-right commentator Nick Fuentes and his followers against Charlie Kirk. Groyper War. Expectations over the next 14 days. More deplatforming with the right. Grifters will cheer. The donor class will work back the channels to shut it down via the usual means. Expect a distraction event in the next couple of days to divert Groyper momentum. Nick Fuentes. Charlie Kirk is trying very hard to play this cool in public, but privately he is panicking, desperately calling all of his allies to join a smear campaign against me and America First students. The Groyper War is taking a big toll on his organization. They are cracking. Okay, so then they made a playlist. The America First crowd, which is another word for what Groypers call themselves, made a playlist. And I'm going to see if there's a... Yeah, I'm just going to scroll this up here. So, Freed from Desire, Giga Chad theme, Places to Be, Orchestra, Miss the Rage, VVV, Sleepwalker, Party Party, Metamorphosis, American Boy, which is a Kanye West tune, New Flash, Off the Grid, Trump is Your President, and Bella Ciao, the huge L mix from El Professor. That's why it's on there. So again, the Megyn Kellys of the world are can't dare look any deeper into this for fear of what they shall find.
And then the unfired third casing had inscribed on it, "If you read this, you are gay." LMAO, laughing my ass off. So a reference to being gay,
No, not a reference to being gay. A reference to either the person the bullet is intended for or the person that will be investigating the crime after. It's a fuck you to the cops who are investigating the murder, so that when they find the shell casing, it's a message for them. Dumbass.
reference to
They're not indoctrinating homosexuals with engravings. It's a dunk, dummy.
furry culture and 2 references to fascism. Bottom line is Crowder was right. And by the way, those who are ripping on him are wrong.
Okay, good. All right, well, glad to clarify that. Thanks very much. About what? About the fact that somebody forwarded a bunch of shit and they don't understand irony, so he took it at face value and released it so that you guys could jump on the idea that it's some leftist Antifa person?
But it doesn't tell us that much. I've got to be honest. It's like what we learned today.
Well, no. It tells us quite a bit, but it doesn't tell you what you want to hear, and he doesn't look like you want him to look. That's why you're confused. It's like, you know, when somebody tries hypnosis and they're just focusing on, you know, I will not allow myself to be hypnotized. Like you can fight it off. You can't hypnotize somebody against their will. And if somebody's fighting against a piece of information, whether it's right or wrong, they can force back using disbelief, allowing it to take root because it will fuck with the rest of their belief system.
He doesn't come from a political family.
He doesn't come from a political family. They're both registered Republicans. They're both like they own multiple guns. They go to like gun ranges, firing sniper rifles and high powered and machine guns and AR-15s and all kinds of shit like that.
Michael Schellenberger has been scouring the social media and says he couldn't find one political post in the past 13 years from the mom or the dad. The mom.
Okay. From the mom or the dad.
Works helping people with disabilities. The dad is in law enforcement for 27 years. But
that's why neither of them really will be on social media. They're a bit busy.
Neither appears to be political at all. And even the son, the murderer, Tyler, does not appear to have been political at all until recent years. People are pointing to the fact that he wore a Trump costume.
Weird.
It was like for what it's worth,
a Trump 2020 t-shirt.
Something that looked to be diminishing of Trump costume.
Nope, riding on his back. He will carry me on his shoulders.
In 2017, where there's a picture of him standing, and then Trump is like it's like kind of those pants for the listening audience that you put on, and there's like a costume below you, and it looks like the person's carrying you on their shoulders, and Trump looks like he's carrying this guy Tyler on his shoulders here, which, yeah, it's diminishing.
Is it though? Also, I got to tell you, it looks like the Grinch with a Trump wig on it.
He's with his little brother who's carrying a firearm. I'm not sure what the little brother's costume is or if it relates at all to.
Maybe it's not a costume. Maybe they were just going hunting. He's got a real rifle. He's got an orange tip on the end that is removable. You take that off when you're actually walking and hunting.
What he's doing with Trump. In any event, we have no reason to believe this family was political. According to Schellenberger, the shooter here was not a registered Democrat or a registered Republican. He was registered unaffiliated.
You don't say.
But you heard the governor describing family members saying that he had gotten more political.
Which I got to tell you, sounds really fucking generic. gotten really political? Like, wouldn't you say he's gotten really political lately? He got very left-leaning. He got very right-leaning. If you like one of those groups, you're probably going to you're going to even it out. You're going to, if you're left-wing and he was going left-wing and now he's done something terrible, he got very political lately. If you're right-wing and he did something terrible and he's been very right-leaning, you're going to go, well, he got very political lately. You're going to make it generic.
Recently, that he had become more political in recent years, according to family members, that he did not like Charlie Kirk and was explaining at a recent dinner what he did not like about him.
Yeah, he didn't say that about Trump. It's weird that he would focus on Charlie Kirk and not be like, oh, I fucking hate Charlie Kirk and Trump and blah, blah, blah. Like, because you know who really hates Charlie Kirk? The groypers. The groyper war was aimed at Charlie Kirk and Talking Points USA, or Turning Points, or Turding Points.
He said Charlie was full of hate and spreading hate, and that was as specific as they got.
Well, then maybe that's why. Maybe you need to ask him, a follow-up. Because I think if it was cut and dry about why he thought he was hateful, right? Who's he being hateful towards? It might be women and trans people and minorities, but it also might be the true America First crowd.
I mean, what's really annoying right now is online, you've got the leftist mob saying he was a white MAGA Republican Christian gun lover.
Gee, I wonder where they got that idea, besides his upbringing and all the pictures of him holding guns.
Go fuck yourselves.
I thought you were against that kind of behavior.
Okay, that's not correct. Yeah, he was white.
Okay, we'll check that off.
I think the family was Christian.
Okay, we'll check that one off.
I haven't seen any evidence that they're Republicans. Certainly
They're both registered Republicans. We'll check that one off. You'll get around there.
not that he was a Republican or that they had any love for Donald Trump. If anything, that costume suggests the opposite.
Does it?
And the whole
They voted for Trump.
fascist reference is obviously in connection with Charlie's support of Trump. If there's one thing
Well, that might be, but from the right.
we knew about Charlie, besides the fact that he was a Christian, was that he loved Donald Trump and proselytized for Donald Trump.
Right. And the groypers have recently, over the last couple of months especially, turned on Donald Trump because they think he is a puppet of Israel. And hating on the Jews is part of the DNA of that organization, or lack of organization. That group, that gaggle, what is it, a murder of groypers? What's the fucking group? A gaggle?
Endlessly. And the left is the one that's been pushing the narrative that he is a fascist.
Yeah, but until Trump bought into Intel, bought into U.S. Steel, wanted a percentage of the money that NVIDIA makes selling to China, and which is fascism. I mean, it is corporatism and government working hand in glove. That's Mussolini fascism. And a lot of times, by the way, there's a difference between National Socialism in terms of what Hitler was, selling, whether he believed it or not. It's another conversation for another time. And Mussolini's specific form of fascism and the imagery of fascism and the design ethos of fascism and the fucking the Turning Points USA fucking imagery that they basically borrowed from CPAC, which again used an Odenic rune that the Nazis stole
At every
for their stage shape.
turn. I mean, read the New York Times, read the Washington Post.
I thought we weren't supposed to. I thought they were legacy media and they were fake news.
Read the Huffington Post. Read anything online. Go on X for 1 hour.
No, yeah, I'll read newspapers and stuff, even ones I disagree with. But I'm not going to torture myself so that Elon Musk can make money on advertising.
type in
sicking fucking bots on me.
fascist in the search bar. See what you come up with.
Is it a picture of you? It's a picture of you, isn't it? Is it a good picture? Is it flattering? I hope so for your sake. I can't imagine not.
This is a leftist narrative about Trump
No, it's not.
and about Charlie.
Uh-oh.
When inflation jumps, when you
Oh, yes. Got to sell some gold. When inflation jumps or your friend is murdered, store up on gold. The end times are coming. And you might have to, when we all dissolve into a tiny little population of leftover human beings and we all use gold like Ayn Rand proposed in Atlas Shrugged, you're going to need some chunky gold rocks to pretend it has usefulness.
hear the national debt is over 30.
Fuck me. I know. Seriously. CSL. Like, you know, there are people who jump to conclusions. There are people who have confirmation bias. And then there are people who refuse to open the door because they fear what is behind it. And that's what Megyn Kelly does for a living right now. She walks right past the door with a blinking light over top of it, and the handle is rattling and there's a thumping behind it. Like, I'm pretty sure there's somebody in that room. And she's like, no, I think it's one of the other doors. The ones that are painted on the wall she'll walk up with a marker, draw a door on the wall and go, I think it's this door, not the one that's actually rattling. Fuck. Oh, and I want to show you this real quick because we're not going to, I don't even know that we need to cover this horse shit. But look what Benny Johnson is putting, like his AI slop horse shit that he puts out. Captured, breaking news, killer details revealed. I presume he means details about the killer and not killer details, bruh. With this screaming picture of Kash Patel, who apparently has a picture of gun ammo with words on his fucking phone and a mugshot, and I don't know who the fuck is he yelling at? This one's even worse. Look at this fuckery. Breaking news: sniper's nest revealed. Trump announces motive of Charlie Kirk killer. Sniper nest revealed. Cash and Bongino join manhunt. This was, on September 11th. Join the manhunt. They didn't show up till 5 p.m. By that time, the pictures had already been posted and there had already been a reward. The phone calls had already happened. He was in the process of being talked into turning himself in by his dad and his pastor. These fuckos didn't have anything to do with it. The fuck does Bungholio have to do with this? Ugh. So anyways, I got to tell you, I have no interest in going through their shit because what a waste of fucking time.